Alright, so I'm just going to wait a second and see if anyone joins. Alright. Welcome to the live stream, Rhiannon. Let's see. How should I organize this? So, can you see and hear everything alright? Excellent. That's fine if you don't stay too long because it will be archived anyway. Oh, thank you. I considered getting the webcam out, but I thought I'm not gonna need it. I'll just type everything. But yeah. Just trying to manage my other windows because Discord does not look nice if you make it upright. I don't know how to describe it. It looks bad. Okay. Well, this is going to be a video anyway, so I'll just start explaining. So, the idea here, I was thinking earlier on, because, you know, it's not too far away, university, I mean, and I was thinking, right, how am I going to take notes? So, traditionally you've got a couple of options. You could handwrite them, which works well, but yeah, so you could handwrite them, which works well, but anyone that knows me knows that I write horribly, and sometimes I can't read what I've written, and that's the case for a lot of people. And also, I can type faster than I can write, easily. And that's also the case for a lot of people. But the issue with typing things is if I just open up a text document, so if I just open up Vim and start typing stuff, you know, it doesn't look nice. It's not as easy to read. If you lay it out nicely, like you could on paper, then you're going to be wasting time if you do that within your text editor. Which is not good when you're writing notes because you want to get them written as quickly as possible. And so the issue there is the appearance. So you want to get sort of in between. You want to be able to write it fast, but you also want it. You also want to be able to look back and read what you've written without having to reformat everything yourself. So, to counter that, I've not done much on it so far, but I've started writing, I don't know what to call it. It's not a compiler, and it's not an interpreter either. Well, it's sort of, I suppose it's sort of an interpreter, but basically what this program's going to do is take a file that you write, which will be your notes, can't doodle in the margins of a text document. Right, okay, yes. I was going to address this. I'll explain the basics of it first and then I'll address that issue. Or actually no, if you need to go soon then I should address that first. So, Rhiannon says that she can't doodle in the margins of a text document. Now this is true. as an art student, I can imagine as an art student, I can imagine that's important. So I was thinking about this myself because as a physics student, you still would probably need to sketch quite a few things anyway. I like to sketch out things. So the solution to this, the solutions that I could think of are you also bring a notepad and reference that within your notes if you need any sketches, which would work, but you know, you could lose that and you might be as well just handwriting them at that point. That's not true because with this, with what I'm working on, you won't want to handwrite it. But so yeah, you could have a physical piece of paper that you doodle on and then reference that within the notes, or a drawing tablet, because I'm going to work on incorporating images within this as well, so that you can have images in your notes. But I'm aware that requires an investment, which costs significantly more than a notepad. There might be a way around it, but only playing through the left side of your headphones. Okay, give me a second. And I'll see. I just need to change the card. Maybe this is more. Okay, I need to restart this stream real quick, because I need to change some settings in my OBS to change it to mono, because you're not gonna want this one. Yeah, no, I don't know why I picked stereo. Give it a second. Okay, let me know if that's sorted the issue. It should have. I hope it did. Excellent. Okay, so we're addressing the issue of images or drawings. Yeah, so basically my workaround to that is if you have a drawing tablet or something similar, then I am going to work on a way of incorporating images into these notes, which shouldn't be too hard, but I suppose it does make things a little bit less convenient. But I don't know how else to address that. But yeah, on the text side of things, the idea is a markup language. So I haven't decided entirely on the syntax yet, but basically the way the syntax is going to be written is as simply as possible. So, for example, how would you write? Like I say, I haven't decided, but basically, if you want to start something like you want to set the title, okay? Something like this, really fast. what should we call it? Like, okay, something like that, right? And the program interprets that as, okay, the title of these notes is dynamics. Now, obviously, you're not just going to have one massive pile of notes called dynamics, but just as an example. So, for that, let me see. So, the program interprets that as, okay, the document title is dynamics, and if I compile this here and run it, run that, and so this is the output file here. I need to change that. So it would take it and throw it up at the title space. This is not where that would actually be. I'm still working on it. But that's just a quick example. So you type something out really fast and it'll output it as something that looks nice. And, you know, from that I would build on, you know, you want a bullet point, /BP, type what you want. Or maybe to make it even faster, if you're going to have a list of things, do /LST, name the list, and then maybe we could, maybe it could work on tabs. So anything, if we go list topics, for example, and then anything after that that's indented would be bullet pointed. Something like that. And so, yeah, that's the main idea. You type something out that's really short, it doesn't need to look good in this file, and then you run the program and it'll output it as a PDF, sort of similar to what LaTeX does, but there's emphasis on writing things as fast as possible so that you don't miss anything. Thanks, I'm glad you like it. No, I need to change something in here. Where are we going? Okay. Why was my date massive before? Okay, so that's something I need to address already. The first thing I implemented is that when you run the program, the date comes up in the top right hand corner, and I've messed up the font size somehow. If I take this away and compile that again. Nope. That's strange. That wasn't that size before. But yeah, there's a little section here. This basically gets today's date and prints it up, well, this section here, and prints it up at the top right hand corner of the page. I might change, I'll make it so that you can choose where you position that, but basically that's because you're going to want to date every note that you take so that you can look back. Maybe if you print things off, you can have them in the order that things, that the lectures were in, that sort of thing. I don't know, I personally thought that would be pretty useful. You'll notice there's a lot of comments here. I'll be honest, I grabbed this. This was the sample document for the PDF library that I'm using, and it initialized everything that I needed to initialize, so I thought, you know, why type it out again? But I do want to keep things consistent, and this, whoever wrote this, uses a different style to myself, so that's one thing. I'll go through before I start working on anything serious with it. I need to change all these spaces to tabs and change how they've indented their loops, not loops, their statements, because that's ugly. But yeah, that's the basic idea of it, and I'm probably going to stream most of my work on it. Not all of it, because I like to do some work on my laptop while I'm traveling or just not at home, basically. But while I'm at home and working on it, I'll stream it so that people can keep up with what's happening, and also the feeling of having someone watching you. I like that because it sort of makes me feel like I should be doing something. It stops me from procrastinating. But yeah, I have like 3 weeks to finish this. So I'm gonna go pretty hard at it. Shouldn't take long. I think maybe for this first live stream, because I've got time, I could establish the syntax for the markup. Just because it's something that's not too technical, so people can watch it, and it's also something that I'm going to need to establish anyway if I want to interpret the files. So let's go over here. Quit that. Look at this. Oh. One thing as well, for Windows users, I know, basically I want to make this accessible to anyone, and a lot of Windows users don't use command line tools very often, so that will be something to work on after the program's working and the language is established. Yeah, normies using their graphical programs, imagine that. Yeah, that's the plan. So once the language is finished and once the program works as it should, I'll start working on a GUI program. You know, so that it makes life a bit easier for Windows users. And it will just be, you know, really basic text editor with a compile button. Not a compile. It's not compile. I need to stop calling it that. With maybe a make button or whatever, which runs the program and turns it into a PDF. Only know the word GUI in relation to delicious foods. Yeah, for any other normies out there, GUI stands for, yeah, GUI, graphical user interface. I say GUI, some people don't. Maybe it should be pronounced GUI. I don't know. GUI just seems easiest for me. So, yeah, the language. That's what I was getting at with the Windows thing. Windows, you can have, in Windows of course you can have files without extensions, but it looks ugly. So I'm trying to think, should I have my own file extension for things written in this language? And if I should, then what should it be? Because I don't know, does it matter if the extension's taken? I wouldn't normally consider this, but because Windows is much more widely used, I think it might be a good idea to have a file extension, so that way when the GUI program is developed, you can open, it can default so that anything with that file extension is opened in that program, which is what a lot of programs like to do. For now I won't give it an extension, but we can think about that later on. So let's go this example. So first thing you're going to want is the title, because the date's already there. So let's have that as the example. Should it be slash? That's another thing. What is the fastest? Should be how often? See, this is the thing. We want maybe the shoulder button actually. Should it be? Because what are we not going to use often in notes? With maths and physics-based subjects, you're probably going to use the slash quite a bit for division. That's also another thing. What's the word? Equations. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle equations yet. I might look into using... LaTeX is free software, so I could probably steal from LaTeX in the way that they do that. We'll get to that. But yeah, should it be the shoulder button? Should it be, what are we not going to use often? We could steal from LaTeX and use backslash. No. No, every keyboard has a shoulder button, so we will use that. Okay, so you get the title like that. And what else might you need? We've got title. Regular text is just going to be written. So if you don't have anything like this, if you don't have anything like this before the text, then it will just be regular text. Like this. Should we have... Okay. Should you need to name a list? No. You shouldn't. Naming a list should be optional. So you can start a list without a name or with a name. And how to decide... Okay, we could do spaces for list items. Or we could have a symbol. But it needs to be... I suppose it doesn't need... No, it should be a symbol that you're not going to use in a list. Let's go with spaces. If I have difficulty with that, then... No, that should be possible. Yeah, no, you can do that. So list... And then... Or should we have a... Might accidentally put a space. Yeah, but the way it would work is it sees this and thinks, okay, this is the beginning of a list. Anything with a space after that is an item. And then when it gets something without a space, so it decides, oh, this is the end of that list. This doesn't get a bullet point. Surely that would work. I mean, it could be safer to have like an end list, you know, something that indicates the end of the list that is actually typed. But that again is wasted time, so it's probably better not to. It's subject to change. The full thing is so we need so you get your regular text. You need to be able to highlight things, things of importance. So even if a general, this is end of this section command. Oh right, I see. So something that indicates the end of anything. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Double forward slash. I was gonna. Was that double forward slash could work? I'm thinking. Yeah, so you just flop it there, or there. Yeah, there's nicer because it uses less, bit less space. Yeah, we'll go with that. Indentations. Not indentations. Yeah. So when rather than oh, you want to use that for the end of a paragraph as well. I'm thinking maybe a different one for that. Maybe just backslashes like this. And that'll think, okay, we need to indent here. What else do we need? Oh, it looks like I have someone else watching. Excellent. Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. What else do we need? So, you can set the title. The date's always done. We've got lists. We've got new line. We need equations. I'm going to leave for now, but we'll touch on that once we've got the basics working. Here's something. You're probably going to want to put your name on it somewhere, but I don't think I want to do that within the document itself. I think I want that to be something that you define within a config file, so that you don't have to type it out every time. Or we could do that, or either a config file or a template system. So no, config file, definitely. So with the template, I was thinking maybe we do have it in the document, but you have a command that will generate your basics for you. But no, because the only basic thing that's going to be standard to all of your documents is your name, and just your name, because the date's going to change as well, isn't it? So yeah, a configuration, when you install the program, that asks, oh, what's your name? So you put your name in, and that will automatically go to the top left hand corner of every document that you write. And so that way you've always got your name and the date, which are, you know, the absolute basics. You need that on, well, you don't need it, but you want it there on every note you take. And from then my name, forget everything you know that doesn't have anything to do with fine dining. Yeah. What else do we need? Since you're talking in chat, what would you personally need? What do we need it to do? Or what do we need it to recognize, rather, in terms of format? Highlights. That's what I was going to do. Yeah. So, what could we do for highlighting? Subtitle? Oh yeah, you could do with titles and subtitles. Subtitles would be easy enough, I suppose. Something like that. And so the way LaTeX does it is, they call it, you've got your title, you've got subtitles, you've got subtitles, subtitles, and you just add it on. So I suppose we could do that with this, or sections rather. You're being summoned away. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna keep rambling. Thanks, I'm sure I will. I'm gonna keep rambling to myself about this, and try to establish most of the basic syntax. And after that, I'm gonna actually do some work in the program. Get that going. But yeah, I'll talk to you later. Right. I suppose we could do this. Should we call them titles or sections? That's another thing. I'll just call them titles, because we're not going to have, in notes, you know, you're not going to have masses of sections. So I don't think we need that. Just subtitles. And do we want an index, like how LaTeX does, or a table of contents rather? That's another thing. I don't know if we do need one, because again, this is heavily, it's based on note taking, so you're not going to be taking absolutely massive notes. Okay, we'll leave it at that for now. What more do we need? Highlighting, I already said that. So, if you want something to be highlighted, you're going to surround it with something. What should that something be though? Because it can't be too... It can't be something used too often. But the way to usually get around that, I would say, is to double things up. So, although the / is used often in maths and physics, and any sciences really, you're not going to have two of them in a row often. So that's why that's useful for ending things like lists. So we could use a similar system for highlighting things. Maybe colons. That's not how you spell highlight, is it? How do you spell highlighted? No, it is. So like this. That might change. I might change that. But I think that makes sense. Lines. If you want to separate one thing from another. So we just do ln for line. And I'll separate these out a bit. Just to make this a bit nicer to read. I think that's the basics of what the language needs to account for. And so far, I don't have anything to interpret that. But what I do have is this here. So let's actually do something. So the issue I had was with the fonts. Yeah. So, in the date font there, and type font here. So we have these here. A lot of these comments will come out because these were just explaining the library that I'm using to generate the PDF file. I'm keeping them in there for now, just for my own benefit, but they will come out soon. So let's compile this. And there's still that issue here. This date should be a lot smaller than that. what happens. And if we make a different file this time and compare the two, so this is the first one. Where are we? And they look the same. Okay. So that's definitely not doing anything, which is an issue. Where are we? Set font, date font. Let's have a look at the documentation. Right, it's the painter that we need to look at. Painter. I'll move this over so that you can see what I'm doing. So, PDF Painter, which is this painter here. Set font. That's what we want. Set font. Should okay, so these are pointers. So these objects, they're initialized. Create font, Arial, Arial. Set the font for all text drawing operations. Okay, so that's maybe the issue. Have to call set font before calling this function. Okay, so that's where the issue is. For all, because this was the last one that we called, that's set the font for all, for everything that the painter does in terms of text. I think, or because this was the last one, sorry. And that's why it's larger than it should be, it seems. So let's go back. And we need to figure out how we change font. What's the get font? Get the current font. Can you request a song? I'm not sure about doing songs in this stream. I don't know. I don't want to get more copyright strikes because that's what happened with the last one. The Vengabus just I got assaulted with copyright strikes. So let's see. I'm sure there's an example. Of course, there's an example. I'm using it. This one. And I think it only uses one song. I'm talking rubbish. Oh, wait. Extreme USSR anthem ear rape. My worry is that I do that and someone watches this stream for like educational purposes, like they actually want to see what I'm doing, and then they get hit with that. What are we looking for? Yeah. Set different background tags. I'm glad you understand. If it was not default font we used, deleted by the PDF document. Yeah, that's true. Because this is one of the few projects that I think will actually be quite useful. I can see I'm definitely going to use it myself. I don't know, maybe other people will look at it and think no, but you know. Were you here for the explanation of how of the idea, or did you just join not too long ago? You have no idea what I'm doing. So, I don't like to repeat myself in the stream, but I'll explain anyway because it doesn't take too long to explain the basic idea. So, the idea is that, you know, you get two ways of taking notes generally in lectures. So you could write things down with a pen and paper, or you could type it up. And so the issue with pen and paper is that most people type faster than they write, and it's not always as easy to read, especially in my case, because I don't have nice handwriting, and that's the case with a lot of people. And the issue with typing is that it can sometimes take longer to type things out, as in formatting wise, so it doesn't look like how you want it to look, and to do that it takes you longer. But you can produce things a lot faster. But yeah, it is not as nice to read a text document. You know, you open up Notepad and you've just got lines and lines of text. You don't want to be reading through them as your notes. So I'm working on a markup language. This is the example I've got so far. So basically you type, so basically you type really short things such as this is the title. So you use the shoulder button, I might change that, but at the moment shoulder button TTL for title, an example, so the program interprets that and it outputs something along the lines of this, it will be in the center, I promise you. So it creates a PDF from what you've written, and it will lay things out nicely. The program itself is in very early stages. I'm just messing around with things at the moment, but it's more the idea. The idea itself is pretty much there. So any text that you write without something before it is taken as regular text, which is fairly large in the document so that it's nice and easy to read, but not too large. And yeah, it's a nice font, it's easy to read, it's just basically what you'd want when you're reading your notes. Lists will be handled as well, and the way you do that is by initializing the list, and you can name the list or leave it blank, and every item after that is started with a space and then the item name, and you end it with a double slash. So they're really fast to type out. Double backslash ends the line, so if you want to indent anything. Subtitles work like this. Highlighted text at the moment, double colon, but that might change. And if you want to draw a horizontal line across your page, LN. It should hopefully make things a lot more efficient. Alright, so let's get back to this. Yeah, back to the program. So maybe I need a different painter. I get the feeling that might be class which is able to draw text and graphics directly in a PDF page object. So let's have a look at the painter itself. Okay, we'll try making another painter. So what we want now is to differentiate between painters. Oh. So we have title painter and date painter. Back up painter, so should this okay, yeah. Where else? Painter. And we'll need to rename that. Oh, oops. No. We'll need to rename that page as well, because we can't have that for when the users are creating the pages. They need to be able to set when their own pages are made. I think that's the painter sorted. Oh, we need let's try that. Again. What's this? No member name set page. What happened to... I must have done something to get rid of those capital letters. Oh, let's take a look at this then. Has to be called after pages completed. Terminate code after. Oh, I forgot to compile it again. Yeah, okay. So let's take a look. Let's take a look and see if someone else is. Let's see what this is. I don't think that's what we want. No. I would have thought you would just use the set font here. It doesn't look like it though. I wish they would give us a little more than this, because there's no example here about changing the font. Okay, let's see. We'll bring this back. To just Painter. Bring it back to how it was. And we'll try having a look at the set color, so that we're not changing the size, and see if we can change that, have these different colors here, and that might confirm whether what I'm doing is wrong. Well, obviously something's wrong, but I can't work out what it is. So I think that's that. Nope. Oh, wait. Got this font here. We don't want. No, we do want that. What's wrong with this? Okay. Ah. Okay, that works. Well, it makes the PDF file, so that's a good sign. Okay, so we've got it working again, and let's try changing the color halfway through here. So compile that. Oh, no. Finish. Okay, so there's an error. I've probably formatted this wrong. Yeah. I think. So let's go. Okay, so that works. We can change the color halfway through, but not the font size. Unless... okay. I've got an idea. No. I was gonna do set font size halfway through. But the issue with that then is we want the fonts to be separated. We don't want to be changing the font size every time we change what it is we're typing. So let's see. Maybe it's not in the painter. Maybe it's should be in here. And it just needs to be a full, yes. So font size for this font. Actually, out of interest. And that is a boolean, so true. Okay, what's the issue here? Yeah, no, I didn't mean to use that. So what's the issue here? I should keep this consistent actually. It's not going to make a difference though. Oh. Okay, so when we call that, does that just... No. What if I try bold? I see. This is to check. Right. Yeah, that was stupid. So, yeah. Set bold. So how do we set it as underline? And we'll try set bold. True. Protected within this context, okay. Right, I see. Okay. So you can change the color in line. So you must be able to change the font, surely. Yeah. That works, we know that works. I can't think why this wouldn't work. Go. What if we take this out? Nope. If we make this small. And it's not changing anything. Why not? If we take this out. Okay. Okay, right. So that's how that should be. And we want this to change. So that's a step closer. Maybe after this. Font. This. It seems a bit messier like this, but if it works, then that's what's important. Alright. We're getting somewhere now, so yeah. I don't want this to be here though. So let's move that a bit. Where are we? Here. let's go for maybe 75. And we want to run okay, that's more reasonable. It's not centered though, so the way that the coordinates work in PDFs is that it starts from here, and the X coordinates come along here, Y coordinates up here, and the reason this isn't centered is because it starts here. So this is the center here, and we need to take into account the size of the string. And this needs to be dynamic, obviously, because people are going to title their documents differently. And we also want margins, so that if it gets to a certain length, if the string gets to a certain length, it will automatically indent, but not halfway through a word. We don't want that. So let's sort out the centering first. So there must be, we want the, let's close that for a second. We want PDF string, I believe. Is it? It is a PDF string, isn't it? Document title, that's up here. Or do we just print it as a, okay. Yeah, it's just a character array. But we might want to convert it to a PDF string. Get length in bytes. So that's not what we want. We want to find out how wide it is. So how do we do that? No. How would we do that? I wonder, okay, Painter, PDF Painter, draw See, we can get the width of the page, which is handy. We want to do the same thing for the painted text and subtract half of that from the x coordinate. What's the canvas? No. I'm not sure. How would I work that out? We'll have a think about that. What else do we need to get done in terms of the basics? What can we do without actually starting to read from a file? Well, first off, we can clean up this file here. And so this information here, for the most part, will be taken from a config file that will be created probably for ease of use on installation. Because your general user doesn't want to edit a config file. So if that's generated, then that would make people's lives easier. We can leave this here because that applies. We'll leave some spaces here, just to, oops. I'm not liking these spaces instead of tabs, but at the same time I'm not sure if it's worth changing. It just means that I'd need to conform to that for the rest of the program. Maybe it is worth changing. We'll see. I'm not going to do that now, because that's boring to watch. Yeah, so that's a bit tidier. This should really be called draw date and title, but I'll leave it at draw date for now. Just it's using less characters, so I think I'll finish up at that for tonight. I didn't get an awful lot done, but I've at least explained the concept of the program and got the date going. We've got the document title. Still working on it. I'll try to get that centering working for the next stream. And after that, we go straight into actually reading the markup files. So yeah, keep an eye out. I'll be streaming fairly regularly, I think. And yeah, so we'll call it a day at that. Thanks for watching.